Hello all, welcome. Here is a video about sleep and how to improve it and how to help with sleep problems like insomnia and things. I wanted to make this video because about 3 years ago I had a bunch of friends and relatives that were having insomnia and problems with sleep. So I did like a week's worth of research and found a lot of info just like from online, reading videos, and my own notes just from the past. I actually have been super blessed and have not had problems sleeping pretty much my whole life, except for when I was in respiratory therapy school, which was for like 2 years. I was super stressed. I was not taking care of myself, totally out of balance, and not getting social time, and was just studying all day, every day, and just really stressed and not sleeping. So once I was out of that, my sleep restored. So I took about like 2 pages of notes. It's kind of a lot of content. I would recommend maybe just like taking notes as I go through a lot of these things, and probably a lot of them you're like, yeah, I do that, or I don't do that. And if something sticks out, I would just write it down. Yeah. So let's get started. So according to the National Sleep Foundation, 45% of Americans have reported a sleep problem serious enough to interfere with their functioning. So you are not alone. There's other people out there like you, believe it or not. So there's what's called sleep hygiene, which is like, there's dental hygiene, body hygiene. It's just a way of taking care of your sleep and making sure that it's healthy. Number one thing is getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep. The most effective part of sleep hygiene is what's called sleep rhythm, which is going to bed at the same time every night and waking up at the same time every day. Avoiding sleeping in. I know this can be hard for a lot of people to say, like, oh, it's really hard for me to get out of bed in the morning. And I have a trick for this, which is that I set my alarm on my phone, and then I put my phone on the other side of the room. And this forces me in the morning when it goes off, I can't just like reach over and click the snooze button. I actually have to get up out of bed and go turn it off. And just getting out of bed actually like wakes me up. And this, when you go to bed at the same time every day and you wake up at the same time every day, the body learns and it starts to release melatonin 45 minutes before your normal bedtime. And this actually increases your sleep efficiency, so you need less sleep, a smaller amount of sleep. And if you need to change the times that you're going to bed or waking up, they say it's good to do that in 1 to 2 hour increments and not to make like big changes if possible. Avoid taking long naps. The best is 20 minutes after lunch. A bed should be designated for sleep and sex only. No reading, TV, phone, and this is related to the Pavlov's dog experiment, of like association, and that you really associate your bed with somewhere to sleep, and that's it. Subconscious. The first, or for 1 hour before bed is dedicated for unwinding. Nothing that gets your adrenaline going. This next one is kind of controversial. I don't know if I totally agree with it. They say that if you don't fall asleep within 20 minutes, get out of bed, go to another room, do something relaxing, some activity, reading, listening to music, taking a warm shower. This is called stimulus control. It's breaking the association of the bed as a place of frustration and worry. I don't totally agree with it because, I think there's other tools that I can do in bed, meditation, cognitive reframing, and things. So I think it might work for some people. But anyway. Warm shower, again. I think it was Sadhguru that said, one, it just like totally cleanses the body of the energy of that day. And I think it also has something to do with vasodilation. Room temperature, 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit. You want to decrease the amount of blue light and bright light that your eyes are seeing, which can help with melatonin production. Dim lamp light or candle light is okay. No devices within 1 hour of your bedtime. And if you have the night shift on your phone or on your computer, that can really help with decreasing that. I have mine on all the time, even if it's daytime. Essential oils, lavender, ylang ylang, jasmine. You want to have your room totally dark at night. There should be no light at all. Maybe you need to use an eye mask. Breathing exercises. So one that I do right when I get in bed every night is I breathe 10 seconds in, I'm holding it for 11 seconds, and then out for 12. And it doesn't have to be that exact amount of seconds, but it's really about the ratio of having your exhale being longer than the inhale. So I do just 3 breaths like that, and it really, concentrates my mind, and I think just is very relaxing and settling. Meditation in general, and body scans, yoga nidras. There's meditation apps that have tools for sleep, sleeping meditations, and so the Calm app, and there's the Waking Up app with Sam Harris. Highly recommend both. The Calm app has what's called bedtime stories too, which I've never really checked out, but maybe worth checking out. And John Kabat-Zinn, here's something I wanted to play from him about all of that.
We're trained enormously in thinking, logical thinking, discursive thinking, analytical thinking, deductive thinking, and we've become, really fantastic thinkers. But sometimes, have you noticed, our thinking drives us crazy? We can't shut it off at night. We go to bed and we're thinking about what's going to happen tomorrow, big deal tomorrow, and we can't go to sleep, or we're upset about this or that. So this, in a sense, we don't actually know our own minds. We don't have any intimacy with our own minds. And meditation, in Tibetan, the word for meditation is familiarization. It means cultivating intimacy with the full spectrum repertoire of what it means to be human.
Yeah, love that. And Alan Watts talks about, he says one of the biggest misconceptions in meditation is that we have to shut off our mind, which he says is impossible. Just like the heart beats, the lungs breathe, the mind thinks. It's just what it does. He says if you try and force to shut off your mind, it's like trying to smooth rough water with a flat iron, and then it just stirs it up even more. So what I've found, basic mindfulness meditation is bringing my attention to one sensation, whether it's the breath or just my body, the skin, feeling the bed underneath me. And after a few seconds, I'm going to get lost in thought, thinking about tomorrow or the past. And when I notice that I'm lost, I just, without judgment or grabbing onto the thought or pushing it away or letting it take me for a ride, I just, without any judgment, bring my attention back to that one sensation. And then I get lost in thought again, and I bring it back. And I do that 1,000 times. And every time you do it, it's like a bicep curl for the mind. They recommend not looking at the clock while you're trying to sleep. As far as diet, of course, eating a healthy diet and staying hydrated throughout the day, avoiding citrus fruits, spicy food, fatty or fried foods, and large meals before bed, decreasing the amount of caffeine, none after lunch, decreasing the amount of alcohol, no more than 1 drink, decreasing the amount of fluid intake before bed, so you're not just peeing all night, exercising during the day, nothing within 3 hours before bed. Morning sunlight exposure can get your circadian rhythm going, and getting lots of daylight throughout the day. And yeah, good to remember too that it's okay to break these habits every now and then, and have a crazy weekend or whatever and let go. It doesn't have to be totally strict all the time. Some things to avoid if possible: working night shift. I worked night shift for 6 years of my life, and it definitely totally messed up my sleep. And I know many people that is, probably the main thing that they need to not do to fix their sleep. Avoiding Ambien, which is a sleep medication. It's a non-benzodiazepine sedative hypnotic. It has adverse effects. You can become dependent on it, and it can cause dementia. And they recommend not stopping cold turkey, that you actually need to wean off of it. As far as treatments for insomnia, the number 1 gold standard is CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. They say that it improves sleep in 75 to 80% of insomnia patients and reduces or eliminates sleep pill usage in 90% of patients. I don't know that much about it, actually. I know that I think people work with it with therapists. From my understanding, it's a cognitive reframe or a perception shift. And I remember I had one of these just kind of naturally. I was listening to a guided meditation back when I was in my respiratory therapy school days and could not go to sleep. And the person guiding the meditation, it was just on YouTube or something, she said that, you're in bed, you're maybe you can't fall asleep, but your body is getting relaxation time, and your mind's getting relaxation time, and you're actually resting in this moment, even if you're not able to fall asleep. And I was actually really able to just accept, okay, I'm not able to fall asleep, and I am getting rest in this moment. And because of that, I really let go of like trying to force going to sleep, which actually made me fall asleep. So it's like, of course, you can't force yourself to let go, but I think that's what the CBT is getting at, is this perception shift. And again, Alan Watts says, if you do get insomnia, the worst thing you can do is worry about it. And then he goes on to say, if you can't help but worry about it, then okay, worry about it. This is the principle of judo, of going along with it, and that you just allow whatever's there to be there, and not trying to force our experience to be something other than it is. Hypnotherapy has been known to be helpful for insomnia. My mom is a therapist in Santa Cruz area, and she has a friend that she recommends, so just reach out to me and I can give you their contact. As far as cannabis, they say that it may decrease sleep latency and put you to sleep, but it could impair sleep quality in the long term. They recommend 2 to 10 milligrams of indica and to start low and slow. The strains are Granddaddy Perp, Northern Lights, Death Bubba, most Kush strains. And fat-based edibles and oils, they have a slower onset of 1 to 2 hours, but they last 6 to 8 hours or even more. So I heard people on YouTube, they would say that they would hit their vape pen with the cannabis, which would give them that instant onset, and then they would take an edible, and that would make them fall asleep instantly and then stay asleep. Again, it can decrease your sleep quality, though. That's what they say. So kind of up to you. So magnesium, they say, is really helpful. I listened to a video by this person called the Sleep Doctor that recommended, or I think it was a masterclass on the Calm app, actually. He recommended boiling banana peels until they turn brown and then drinking the water from that. And that the peels have 3 times the amount of magnesium compared to the fruit. I'm not sure how many peels you're supposed to put in there, though, so I might have to do a little research on that. Reading before bed can make you sleepy. Chamomile tea. I have a friend that is a chemist, and he has 3 recommended supplements. They're really long, hard names. Phosphatidylserine, magnesium, that's 1. Magnesium L-threonate is 2, and gamma aminobutyric acid. So I'm going to share this Google Doc too, and these will be included in there. In the description will be the Google Doc that you can see those if you're interested. There's also another antihistamine that people do take. I think it has the brand name Unisom and the generic name dioxylamine cicanate. It's a first generation antihistamine, so probably similar to Benadryl. And one of the downsides, they say, is that it can lead to decreased cognitive impairment. I would imagine it just leave you kind of drowsy the next day, like Benadryl. Melatonin should only be used for jet lag, and the dosages are 0.5 to 10 milligrams, and to start low and slow. Take 3 hours before you go to sleep. If you need to go to sleep in 1 hour, you can take a higher dose, like 3 milligrams. And the side effects are grogginess. All right, and you ready for the number 1 trick to help with your sleep? Is fix the underlying stress in your life. How to do that? That's a whole nother video. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. I love you all, and sweet dreams. Don't let the bed bugs bite. And there's literally thousands of them.